Get my computer to move. Okay, standards and assessments is next. I'm bringing up our summary of actions. My screen's still blank. I apologize.
Same.
Oh, it's coming. Okay. Chair Jennifer Gravitt, are you ready to?
Yeah, ready to go.
Report? Okay.
Okay, hi everyone. We have 3 motions to consider for standards and assessment. The first item is 9.4 R277-473, the Utah Computer Science Grant Amendment. This was just to update some language dealing with it being a competitive evaluation, and also when an LEA would need to submit a plan. The motion for the board is the committee moves that the board approve R277-473 draft 2 on second and final reading.
Okay, my chair, my summary shows draft 1.
Yes.
Am I reading that right?
Yes.
Oh. So is it draft 1 or draft 2?
Well, we did have actually it's in the summary, it says draft 1, but we did have just a small amendment on line 100 to reinsert the words.
That's right. Okay.
So, let me see.
I got it.
Okay.
So I forgot. So I apologize. Okay, the motion before the board is the board approve R277-473 draft 2 on second and final reading. Discussion to the motion? You seen any hands?
No hands.
Okay, seeing none, let's vote. Member Belknap.
Aye.
Member Bolter.
Aye.
Member Cannon.
Aye.
Vice Chair Cummins.
Aye.
Member Davis.
Aye.
Member Earl.
Aye.
Member Gravitt.
Aye.
Member Hanson.
Aye.
Member Haynes.
Aye.
Member Rear.
Aye.
Member Marsh.
Aye.
Member Newell.
Aye.
Member Thorpe.
Aye.
Member Huntsman's an aye. Voting is unanimous. Please continue.
Okay, next item is 9.5, which is R277-415, the school nurses matching funds amendment. This rule was amended to create better use of grant funds so that we go from annually to 3-year, and then it also updated the comparison metric. Instead of comparing it to 2007, we would compare it to the previous year. This one, the motion for the board is the committee moves that the board approve R277-415 draft 2 on second and final reading.
Okay, the motion before the board is that the board approve R277-415 draft 2 on second and final reading. Discussion to the motion?
Board Member Belknap.
Member Belknap.
Thank you, Chair. I don't know if Jenny can answer this, or what kind of a financial effect is this going to have by looking at the year before for them to come up with matching funds, because it could be an increase of cost.
Right. Could Jeff or Betty Sue answer that? Or
And if I can add on that before we get an answer, and I'm wondering if districts are prepared for this. So.
good question.
If there's anybody that wants to speak to it, if you raise your hand, I can see who would like to answer that question. Betty Sue. Find you. Did that work? Are
Okay.
you unmuted?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not sure I understand the question. So previously they were comparing to the amount of funding that they had spent prior to this money being available, which was the 2007 reference. That is an easy thing to match because it's been more than 10 years. And so we wanted it to be more relevant. And so we're looking at matching the funds, the increase in funding, or rather their ability to match based on the previous year's funding instead of looking back 12 years.
Follow up?
Yes, please.
Okay, so basically, I just need a little bit of help. So we were looking at 2007 funding, and the districts have to match it, or are they given some discretionary money, or how is it? Because if we're comparing it to 2019 money now, and it's more money, do they have, where are they going to find their matching funds? Since it's bigger, I would think.
So the funding didn't start till 2008. And so we were looking at the amount that they were spending prior to any funding that was available for them to be matching. So now we would be looking at the amount that they spent in the previous year, and that they would continue to match that amount and their ability to increase. So for example, if they increased from 10 to 12 nurses, they would match the same amount, but their FTE would have increased, and so they would be spending more. So that would be taken into account.
A follow up?
Yeah, thank you. I'm still concerned. Are districts prepared for this increase? Or I realize it's an option, but it's going, and it's okay, basically, you don't need to answer. I'll talk to you later.
I assume that they are. They've been required to show that they have been matching this for every application cycle, which has been annually since 2008. We haven't released to them that we're going to be going to a 3-year cycle because we were waiting for this approval. So that's the only change that I would expect them to be concerned with.
Thank you.
Okay, any other discussions? Just any, Vice Chair Cummins, any more hands?
Just a quick technical note, just as anyone gets online to answer a question, please identify yourself with your name and your position, and then Board Member Lear has a question.
Okay. Board Member Lear? Did Board Member Lear have her hand up?
Yes, Board Member Lear's hand is up.
Oh, there I am. Sorry. I'm there. Didn't unmute myself. This is more of an informational question. I'm not sure where to look to see the rules themselves. Is it on this agenda item, or do we need to go back to last month's?
To
see the rule itself that's being, and this one may not have been this was not a, yes, it was I'd like to look at R277-415, and I don't know where to go to find that.
Carol, it's just in the agenda. If you scroll down in standards and assessment.
I am, and I click that, and then I see, I'm sorry, somehow.
Okay.
Brain cramp, got it, thank you.
you've got it?
Technology cramp, not brain cramp.
Yes, that.
Blame it on the mouth.
Right. Always.
Any other questions, Vice Chair Cummins?
I don't see any other hands.
Okay. I just lost. We're on 6.5, correct, Vice Chair Cummins? So the motion before the board is the board approve R277-415 draft 2 on second and final reading. That's what I've got on my note here, but
That is correct.
okay. We will vote on that now. Member Belknap,
Aye.
Member Bolter,
Aye.
Member Cannon,
Aye.
Vice Chair Cummins,
Aye.
Member Davis,
Aye.
Member Earl,
Aye.
Member Gravitt,
Aye.
Member Hanson,
Aye.
Member Haynes,
Aye.
Member Lear,
Aye.
Member Marsh,
Aye.
Member Newell,
Aye.
Member Thorpe,
Aye.
and Member Huntsman's an aye. Voting is unanimous. Please continue.
Okay, our next item is 9.6, which is R277736, the Juvenile Court or Law Enforcement Notice and Information Dissemination. This is a new rule that was created to comply with state code regarding information sharing. And in essence, it just addresses when an LEA receives information of a student who's been taken into custody or adjudicated for a violent felony. And it just outlines the requirement and how to use a teaming approach to, disseminate information, etc. So you can see the amendments that were added. There were a few technical things and a couple of clarifications. And then the motion for the board is the committee moves that the board approve R277736 draft 2 on second and final reading.
Okay, the motion before the board is that the board approve R277-736 draft 2 on second and final reading. Discussion to the motion. Vice Chair Cummins, do you see any?
Member Lear.
Yes, I had a couple of questions. First of all, on line 40, it says, as approved, a school principal and the school's multidisciplinary team shall use an evidence-based threat assessment as approved by the board. Does that mean state board? And I'm sorry if this is just a reminder question. Approved by the state board or the local board? Not a capital B board, it's a small B, but I still wasn't sure.
Earlier in line 37, we had said state board, but maybe somebody can answer that while I'm looking it up.
Board Member Gravitt.
Yeah.
It is by the state board.
Okay, that's what I was understanding, but
Okay.
we said that earlier in line 37.
Okay.
I wonder if that needs to be a capital B.
Is it supposed to be a capital B?
That was I would leave it to the rule writing folks.
Okay.
Any other?
I have a second question while they're pondering out, if that's okay.
Yeah, you bet.
Board Member Lear, I had an experience with this just recently, like right before this crisis started, with information received by a school district about a student where there'd been a violent felon or a violent, and I think it's called a violent offense under a certain statute. And the court was completely unwilling to share any information about this with the school, which caused the school to say, well, then we're going to put this student in the most restrictive setting. And because we don't know the extent of the concerns for this student, him herself, or for the other students. Is in your discussion in committee, would this rule allow a team at the school then to perhaps disseminate information in a very limited basis, on a need-to-know basis, so that the student and others could be protected? Would this solve or address my problem that happened just several weeks ago?
May I respond to that?
Yes, please.
In our discussion, it would be a very local decision, and the multidisciplinary team would make those decisions, Carol. I think it would solve, based on my understanding of it. I don't know if somebody else wants to speak up, whether Jeff or Patty or anyone else on committee. But the committee, the multidisciplinary committee, determines how little or how much information gets disseminated in order to protect both the student and the school and the staff and faculty.
Follow-up, Chair, if I
Yeah,
can.
follow up.
If I
Board
may.
Member Lear.
Board Member Lear again. It just struck me that that would be a very helpful discussion with the multidisciplinary team, except the roadblock the school district and LEA hit, and I hit, was that the court did not give the school any information about the circumstances of this situation. So now I'm realizing that maybe we have a little more work to do.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
there wasn't any, the disciplinary team would not have had anything to discuss because the court would not reveal any information that might have helped both the student have a more open education and or would have provided protection for the students generally. So this is so timely in that I think we have some more work to do on this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other discussion, Brittany?
No other hands.
Okay, so the motion, we're gonna vote on this. The motion before the board is to approve R277-736 draft 2 on second and final reading. We will vote. Member Belknap,
No.
Member Bolter,
No.
Member Cannon,
Aye.
Vice Chair Cummins,
Aye.
Member Davis,
Aye.
Member Earl,
No.
Member Gravitt,
Aye.
Member Henson,
Aye.
Member Haynes,
Aye.
Member Lear,
Aye.
Member Marsh,
Aye.
Member Newell,
Aye.
Member Thorpe,
Aye.
and Member Huntsmanson. Aye, the motion passes. Please continue.
That concludes the report.
Well, thank you.
you.
This concludes our committee reports. We are, it's 11:57 on my computer. Miss Lorraine's schedule says at 11:55 we're to take a break. So thank you for your good work this morning. We still have quite a bit of work ahead of us. So we're going to take a break and be back on line at 12:30. So we can mute and leave this the way it is. It would probably be the best, but we'll start promptly at 12:30. Thank you for your work.